Hey, Bowie Jane, welcome to the Conspire Bitches podcast.
Hi, nice to chat with you, Kat. Thanks for all your support. I've seen it on Twitter.
So, I have to ask you the one question that's on everybody's mind right now, and that is how did your game change for the better when you joined the Mafia with Matt and Jag?
Yes, that's right. Well, how did it change for the better? Well, it meant I had a team, that's for sure, which I was lacking at the start of the game. So, and we could rotate through those head of households, which was exciting. So, yeah, I really enjoyed working with those boys, that's for sure. And my God, the internet has gone crazy with that. I mean, at my jury question was that because they give you like 1 second to think of a question. And I was like, you know what? I don't really give a shit about anything anymore because I'm out of the house. I was like, yeah.
So let's start from the very beginning of the game. Very first day, you're coming in from the backyard outside of the comp, and you see, because you're standing right there, you see Izzy pull Jared aside into the hallway. Did you think anything was weird with that, or what? What were you thinking?
So actually, I'm not sure if I saw that downstairs. I saw something on the internet about that, but I don't remember that moment, but I do remember them chatting in the game room. And I walked up to them thinking, oh shit, games talk's already started. So I walked up to them and they weren't talking about that, obviously. But then I was like, oh, I don't think we should be standing here talking like this because this is a bad look. Like in the first 3 seconds, guys, we're gonna get voted out before even walking the bloody door. So yeah, did not hear that comment. No, wouldn't have even crossed my mind, to be honest.
And also, speaking of Jared, and just because I'm really curious, did you throw the wall comp to Jared?
I most certainly did. I
Yeah.
I threw the wall comp. Well, I threw the wall comp. It was a bit of a gamble. I thought I was pretty sure that my relationship with Jared was solid enough just that I wouldn't be put up. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was pretty sure. But I really had a strong feeling that Blue would put me up. So in my head, I was going to stay up at least until Blue dropped off. I saw her drop off. I quickly jumped because I looked over at Jared and he was struggling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot win this because it was too early in the game for me to win and have to make some controversial decisions. And we all know what happens when you're one head of household. You send someone home and you go home the next week yourself. And that was not my plan. I wanted to get to the end.
So let's rewind a little bit back to week 5 when you and Cameron are left out of the red eviction. And you took that pretty hard, especially being blindsided by the Bye Bye Bitches. So let's talk about how you were feeling at this point in the game.
Oh, I was absolutely devastated because I really, truly, in my head, was being loyal to the girls. That was the number one priority. And obviously, the professors being the bigger group around it. So when I found out Sari hadn't voted, I was shocked because we'd had a chat that morning saying, she said, I promise you, I will let you know if it's going to flip because, we don't want to be on the wrong side of the vote. And I said, yeah, look, even if it's going to flip, can you let me know? That'd be fantastic. And she promised Red that, that both at the very minimum, he would have my vote and Sari's vote. So then when I heard there were 2 votes, I was like, okay, that's me and Sari, that's fine. And I said, did you vote for him? And she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, what? So you know what? It was the most shocking moment for me and the best moment of the game for me because it was a real turning point. I just put on my sports hat and went, right, we're going into, I guess, I'm an ex-athlete. So I just went into sports mode and we're going to play this game and not take things personally and not get upset. I don't think I cried for 6 weeks after that, I would like to note.
So you finally get power, you win your first HOH, but you choose to target Cameron, who is the only one on that same side of the vote as you. And you both experienced the blindside together. Why did you choose to target Cameron?
Yeah, I absolutely love Cameron. The problem with me being associated with Cameron, which is I told him this, was I just kept getting a massive target on my back. So strategically, as much as I know he would have protected me through the end, I don't think I would have made it to the end because he would be put up and I would be put up next to him as a pawn. He would win veto and I would be thrown out the door. So because I was still strong enough competitor to be a threat. So for me, it was smarter to, unfortunately, get him out. He was also playing pretty aggressively and that's not really my style, as we know.
Would you call yourself a floater or a coaster?
I would say neither because the thing is, my plan for this game was to be seen as someone who's playing the middle and I'm just going with the house. Absolutely, I was not doing that. I was in alliances the entire time, and we were talking hardcore strategy in all those groups. I had a meeting with Cam. Hang on, my brain's not working. I had a meeting with Corey, America, Matt, and Jag, and we decided the best way to approach the house was to tell them that I was in the middle, that I was just going to vote with everyone, and that it wasn't that I wasn't really on either side. So I was like, it's not ideal, but okay, I'll do that. And it did work because it meant no one wanted to put me out because I was sort of what they saw as a floater, but I actually was not floating at all.
So, what do you have to say about the criticism that people have made about you? And that is that you were not there to play for the 750K.
Oh, of course I was there to play for the 750K, but I wasn't going to say it to anyone. I mean, my whole angle was, I'm just happy to be here. But really in my head, I just didn't want to look like I was a competitive threat or too strategic, because I was watching the people who looked like they were playing hard, and they were. And I was like, they are going to get voted out within a few weeks. And they did. It's just too aggressive. So I was like, oh, I'm just happy my place is rented out. If I could just make jury, just making comments like that. And then, if I can make the final three, I'll be happy to come third. But in my head, I was like, right, once I get to getting close to these points, let's get the next part of the strategy in. So, and I truly did think there was a small chance I could actually win if I got to final two. There are a few people I thought might vote for me, and I've spoken to them afterwards, and it might have been the case. So yeah, it's I definitely had hardcore strategy going on in my head, but I wasn't going to reveal it.
So before we go, we have to talk about the Operation Pressure Cracker. What was the inspiration for the strategy, and what was the goal?
Okay, so this was pretty much just board talk in the house, and we never actually did it. But it was more because we're getting so mad because she was going around and chatting in people's ears, and so it felt like she was making stuff up. Now, whether the stuff I was hearing was correct or not, I don't know, but because I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, she was just playing so aggressively and kind of was prepared to be ruthless, that we were like, well, we don't want to do that strategy. Let's play more of a sports strategy where we're just going to beat her in competition.
Meanwhile, Jag was playing a pretty aggressive strategy, I would say. Wouldn't you?
What was that? Sorry?
That Jag was playing a pretty aggressive strategy, though, the whole time.
He was, but obviously I wasn't as privy to that as, like we had a good relationship, and I was very aware that he was playing both sides with Matt and I knew that, but I still thought I could probably wrangle it at the end. But yeah, also I just wanted to say about that pressure cracker thing, the reference to pots and pans, banging pots and pans, which we would never have done, come on, but was actually a reference to Felicia was doing that to Corey because he'd kept her up all night. So it's sort of an in joke, I guess, with the banging the pots and pans. Yeah, she'd already done that.
BB19.
Oh, what was that? Sorry?
I got it as a BB19 reference. I got the joke, but
thank you.
Okay, and then last question. On the Conspire Way podcast, we have the responsibility to solve this conspiracy once and for all. Do you drink mouthwash?
Oh my gosh. And because of course I get out of the house and mum and dad go, I'm just letting you know that they're just saying that you're an alcoholic drinking Listerine. And I said, Mum, Listerine doesn't have alcohol in it. But the problem was in the house you couldn't have gum. And I did not want bad breath. I've got to keep this pearly white sparkling. So
all right, and I wish we had more time, but glad to have you here on the Conspire Way Bitches podcast. Congratulations and welcome to the real world.
Yes, thank you so much, Kat.